Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, Rum, Molly and SSC likely gave murder accused the Dutch Courage Court told. A murder accused who has been described as being under the influence of alcohol and drugs at the time he allegedly committed the crime will go before the circuit court for trial on September 16. During Wednesday's hearing to determine whether or not Daniel Jones has a case to answer, defense attorney Chuma Paris argued that his client did not discharge the firearm. However, presiding judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton ruled that Jones should face a trial. Jones is charged with the murder of 24-year-old Shaquem Tino Lindsay of Shantytown Paradise, Norwood in St. James. However, his lawyer told the court that the fatal shot was fired by another man. The gun was taken from one of the assailants who was in pursuit of a robbery. The accused had been drinking rum all night. Two victims were robbed of cell phones when shots were fired, and Jones ran. At the time of the incident, he did not encourage the commission of the murder, Paris argued. The clerk of the court had a strong rebuttal. This accused was not armed with a weapon, but if you read the question and answer statement, you would have seen that this accused spoke to the fact that they, Jones, Tippy, and a man named Jay, were in the gully drinking rum and using ecstasy and Molly. He said he gave the gun to the madman, and the man brought it up to a section up there, and all three of them went up there. The intention was to rob, and the gun was always present, she said. I will submit that this statement is an exculpatory statement, and the Crown has a duty at the appropriate time to admit it into evidence. In these circumstances, the Crown is relying on joint enterprise common design. He robbed the man of his phone. He took a wallet from this other young man who appears to be about 16. The gun came into play, and that was when Tippy fired the shot, the clerk added. The clerk maintained that Jones supported and encouraged the offense and suggested that the case should be transferred to the St. James Circuit Court. In her remarks, presiding Judge Keisha Grant Price stated that it is clear from the statement that robbery with aggravation was on the mind of the defendant. He came there high on rum, Molly and ecstasy, which a jury might find to be Dutch courage to carry out a robbery later that morning. He went home with the gun, gave it to someone else, and then decided to speak with the police, Grant Price said. The judge noted that she lacks the authority to prevent the case from proceeding to the Supreme Court. She explained that the matter at hand falls under the jurisdiction of a jury trial. She then ruled that the matter be committed to the Circuit Court for trial on September 16. Jones was remanded in custody until then. According to the police, Lindsay was killed in the vicinity of the Gully bus stop in St. James about 4 a.m. on January 5. Residents reportedly heard explosions and alerted the police. When the cops arrived, Lindsay was seen lying on his back with gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was transported to the hospital where he died on arrival. According to court records, Jones was apprehended in Rose Heights 2 weeks later. He was among one of 3 men spotted on a roof. The police were alerted and the chase ensued. Jones ran and brandished a gun that had fallen from his pocket. The police recognized him as a person of interest in a murder that occurred near the Gully bus stop. He then volunteered to tell the police what transpired. Some census workers still not paid as the process continues to face delays. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica has admitted that some census workers are yet to be paid for work done on the population and housing census. The census has been plagued with issues ranging from insufficient workers in the field to collect data to the information not being turned over to the agency for verification. Jessica Campbell, Director of Research, Design and Evaluation at Statin, says payment has been made to the majority of workers.
Payments have been ongoing. Data collection started in September and checking of the work started in November 2022. So we were paying at 2-week intervals. So as soon as persons would have completed a set of questionnaires and synchronized, we check on the completeness of the work and then would pay the monies that are due to them. So main data collection ended in December 2023. Some of them have been paid, some of them in full, some of them not all together. What's left now to be paid are the persons whose work need to be completed, finalized, reconciled. We have paid about 60% of the persons already, so we have about 40% left to reconcile. We understand that the census takers cannot go back into the field, and we know the lag in payment is an issue and persons are disgruntled, right? But we also have to ensure that we are paying for questionnaires that are due payment. I cannot say, but that by December, well, what month is this? So I won't say in the next 3 months or in the next 2 months because I am not sure.
Meanwhile, Lisha Delati-Boder, Deputy Director General of the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, said that several emerging trends have been identified during the execution of the current housing and the population census. The Statin Deputy Director General said that there has been a shift in the society.
Persons are increasingly concerned about privacy. For example, the new question that gives us trouble is your age. That used to be a standard question. Now people don't want to disclose their age. Additionally, too, we realize that with the security concerns, what you have is persons are less open to responding to somebody knocking at a gate. So these are some of the lessons that we have learned. With regards to staffing considerations, with waning interest in civic responsibility, the fact that census taking and data collection is very hard work. It's not easy. What we find is that the people who are best at data collection are aging. We know we have to move towards leveraging technology. We know that we have to move towards data integration. It's a topical issue. How can we leverage existing data sources to supplement some of our data collection? How can we introduce new statistical techniques in order to move away from the traditional surveys? So generally, we're moving towards more administrative data. And we are also increasing and improving our partnerships with other state agencies who have administrative data. So these are some of the things that we have been looking at.
Still, opposition parliamentarian and the PAAC member Fitz Jackson urged the Statistical Institute of Jamaica to quickly conclude the ongoing census. Mr. Jackson described the circumstances surrounding the delay in collating the information as messy. Data collection for the census was completed in December last year. However, the information remains outstanding. Mr. Jackson said it is time for definitive timelines to be established.
In the same way that you had a projected 4-month exercise for data collection, you must have some set period for the census takers to submit. If they fail to submit, then you have certain action that you take thereafter rather than wait indefinitely. Suppose they never come, the whole thing will never end. So the field workers have to submit claim for payment and turn in tablets. You set a time. Number 2, if the supervisor has certain responsibility to reconcile some information from the field worker, the supervisor too must be given some deadline. You must have some next immediate consequences that flow. This should have been closed within 3 months after the field exercise is completed. Everything should have been long closed, more than double that time.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.